Public service announcement. LSTWN to me. Every M key is different, and each different instrument in different L key. Sometimes you play G on one instrument, it sounds the same on C on another instrument. Now also your room have a pitch. Okay, every pitch in the world is different. Okay, now when that pitch happens, a tempo happens too. If you play a certain note, the chorusy tempo is only one tempo relative to your pitch. Okay, so this really good band only play tempo every song the same. Because the room at that pitch and temperament for that scale. Okay, so how do you know what it is? Okay, sing the note and tune your instrument to the sound you sang. Okay, now the room will reflect back. 1234 or 1,21,212 or something. Okay, now all your allowed keys have to be played at that tempo or a derivative. And if the tuning is a 335 or a 430 or a 444, it doesn't matter, you have to play at that pitch tempo or it will be impossible. Also, those record players with the pitch adjust are good because it is virtually impossible to cut a disc on a record so it play back on a Sony turntable perfect speed. Never work that way. Now all Upu will hear is verbal of the errors when they wrote the disc. Okay, same Dini for digital recording, same thing for iPhone and Word clock. Yapur Studio Word clock is going to play back at a different sample rate than when you wrote the data. By adjusting your word clockal machine pitch during and after playback, now you only hear different time errors, but maybe it's pretty good. But iPhone not magic machine. Computer do not magic machine. Just because it say 120 BPM on the computer. The computer does not know more than you. It does not know 120 BPM more than you. It does not know the correct tempo for your key of your room scale is 438. Brave math. Mathematical of 440 only happens at tempos that are multiples of 74.74 bpm. So if your tempo is not correct, your room and instrument tuned to a 440 is not going to play exactly 75 ripples per quarter note or whatever. So your chord have 440 Hz. That means the ripples in the air going to flap 440 times. Okay, now let's say your downbeat of your 1 is exactly ones. Okay, well, every 440 rotations of the A note, exactly your next change starts. Now you got to lever your IVs sharp and your VS flat to stay in the inharmonicity of the 1. So of course your instrument beat against the room. This beat is your tempo or is some derivative. 2/3 or 5/8 or some simple triplet pattern above or including this fundamental inharmonicity tremolo of the room. Okay, now at some point you can just do it exactly or imagine exactly what it would be. Because the room makes it very easy to play when you are in tune with it. And that's the whole game of music, is finding this still silent tempo against the reflection and trying to play or adjust your notes so the next one is more in tune. When your guitar is loose in tune, you play AC. Your guitar tuning develops a tension to get ready for F. The F is done, it set the tuning different, maybe it goes to G. That's why a lot of songs start in one key and resolve to the 4 on the last chord or something, because the tuning of the instruments change as the song is played. Okay, so if you play too fast, it is a raise against यह room pulse. No. Take your time and don't let a sharp note fool you out of where the reflection will be. If you hit a sharp note and can't bring it down, you just got to take the pressure and wait until hat downbeat come back down. Now you got a flat note, just bend it up or toggle it back to your center tuning of the room. You have to imagine what the recording sounded like in the room. Recordings have all sorts of warbles against the decimator frequencies. Okay, so speed up, slow down too much. Don't let it fool you a recording error. You have to listen to the song inside the recording or what would have been played. To get the song in your head. Now it's easy to get fooled because music complex. You might say, this recording have a 30-second off or some tiny 1/16th off. Or the downbeat is a 30-second off. No, the musicians played it straight. The recording makes it sound like they're jazzing it up. Edit now on a tape machine. You are better off recording in verse speed. Because in fixed mode you will constantly be braking and gassing the electronic drive against a loose or tight bearing moment. Simply switching to verse speed unlocks the correction mechanism from the clock and allows the throttle on the capstan to overspin on loose bearing moments. Turtables and reel-to-reels, which are buffered by a microprocessor, will see some gains, about 10x less electronic speed error, but will still see mechanical eccentricities when in verse speed mode rather than fixed. A turntable with a similar SYSTM, that is quartz clocked, some cassette and a quarter reel-to-reels use a CMR clock, but not buffered by a microprocessor, will only enjoy about a half as much up to a quarter as much reduction of clock error in verse speed mode, but generally have more error than a non-quartz direct drive table or belt table. Servo-locked turntables are generally have the worst speed stability after components age. Lastly, back to record lacquers. When the needle scrubs side to side, the old monolaths used to cut up and down. On the downbeat, it grabs the lacquer and slows down the moment of rotation on the platter. So a lot of records have a warble, not only of the platter on right playback, but also a stretch where big downbeats return the next downbeat slower than how it would have actually occurred as a live performance. If you play to a live click or metronome or computer generated click and perform at the same time, recording one channel for click and one for performance, you will have twice as much time distortion on your first performance than if you record the click alone, then play to the click already recorded for your first track. Another edit: if you plug a tape machine or tape machine plus mixing board directly to a computer or a DAW with a conventional TS, TRS or XLR cable, the ground current and straining of the transport will greatly impair the performance of the dog clock and vice versa. Simply plugging the LR output into a computer will alter the speed and error of the reel-to-reel and converters through the shared ground connection. The solution to this problem is to isolate the connection with an EBTech hum eliminator or similar transformer isolation box to closer maintain reel-to-reel and computer time performance when transferring audio from one to the other.